Tristia,
and the
Epistulae ex Ponto,
or Rome on the shores of the Black Sea. Translated from French. Once upon a time, during the reign of Augustus, there lived a man who could believe himself blessed,
Publius Ovidius Naso,
known as Ovid, a fashionable poet in the golden age of Latin poetry.
Lusor Amorum,
Singer of loves, his playful pen had conquered Rome, and his facility in verse-making bordered on the prodigious. I tried to write in prose, but the words came to fit the metre so perfectly that what I wrote was verse. Fortune, birth, illustrious friends, a house adjoining the capital. Nothing was lacking for this Roman knight, who enjoyed a life more secure and comfortable than ever. Yet one morning in the year 8 of our era, when Rome awoke, sinister news coursed through the streets. The cherished child of the Muses, then 50 years old, had just departed under imperial escort, not for some golden retreat on a clement shore, but for a
Relegatio,
house arrest, in Tomis, a glacial town at the extreme edge of the empire, on the inhospitable shores of the Black Sea. The mystery of his disgrace. What was the cause of this?
Relegatio,
Without trial, by Augustus his will alone, and what reason did this prince have for depriving Rome and his court of so great a poet to confine him among the Geti? This is what we do not know and shall never know. Ovid evokes a
Carmine Terror,
poem and an imprudence, murmuring enigmatically, "Ah, why did I see what I should not have seen? Why have my eyes become guilty? Why, finally, through my imprudence, have I come to know what I should never have known?" If The Art of Love, published a decade earlier, was the
Carmen,
or official pretext, the
Error,
or true fault remains an enigma sealed in the poet's tomb. Ovid's crime was incontestably to have seen something shameful in Octavius's family. The learned have not decided whether he saw Augustus with a young boy, or whether he saw some equerry in the arms of the Empress Livia, whom Augustus had married when pregnant by another, or whether he saw this Emperor Augustus occupied with his daughter or granddaughter, or finally whether he saw this Emperor Augustus doing something worse.
Torva Tuentibus Ircis,
Under the fierce gaze of goats. Let us therefore forget the hypotheses, as numerous as they are strange, of those who wish at any cost to divine a secret 2 millennia old. It suffices to know that, in the throes of exile, in the sobs of isolation, Ovid found no other resource than his poetry, and that he employed it entirely to soften an emperor whose rancor he had incurred. The gods sometimes allow themselves to be appeased, he told himself. From this were born the
Tristia,
and the
Epistulae ex Ponto,
Chronicle of an Eternal Winter, the drama of Tomis. Ovid's elegies during his exile are the journal of a man lost far from his own, far from a civilization of which he was once the most amiable representative, a long lamentation addressed to his wife, to his friends remaining in Rome, and to an implacable power from which he awaits clemency in vain. Tomis presents itself in the guise of a land full of bitterness, forever battered by winds and hail of an eternal winter, and where even wine, petrified by cold, freezes into ice that must be cut with an axe. The poet feels himself an absolute stranger there, a prisoner unlearning Latin amid barbarous words and the frightful cries of the Geti. They converse with one another in a language common to them, but I can make myself understood only through gestures and signs. I pass here for a barbarian, and these impertinent Geti laugh at Latin words. Facing adversity. Where did Ovid draw the necessary courage to bear such cruel adversity? In writing. If you question me about what I do here, I will tell you that I occupy myself with studies apparently of little use, and which nevertheless have their utility for me, and if they served only to make me forget my misfortunes, it would not be a mediocre advantage. Too happy if, in cultivating so sterile a field, I derive from it at least some fruit. Moreover, the former Roman dandy has not entirely disappeared. Elegance, refined traits, comparisons more ingenious than solid persist, sometimes to excess. Quintilian already judged him less occupied with his own misfortunes than as an
Amator ingenii sui,
lover of his own genius. According to Seneca the Elder, Ovid knew what was exuberant in his verses, but accommodated himself to it. He said that a face was sometimes made much prettier by a beauty mark. This constancy in giving some turn to his thoughts, some beauty mark in the French manner, one would almost say he was born among us, notes the translator. Jean-Pierre de Courvillers is the ultimate mark of his personality. The avowed refusal to let distance from the capital annihilate the artist, and after having so often described this remoteness as a kind of death, he ends by finding Rome on the shores of the Black Sea, concluding, "The country where fate has placed me must serve as Rome for me. My unfortunate muse contents herself with this theatre. Such is the good pleasure of a powerful God."